with regards to the failure of plans. You know, if you have an idea for what we could do, then put it out there, and then we can at least discuss if it's good or not. And if it's, well, I mean, might still be the best one we've gotten. Then we try it, and then we fuck up, and then, I mean, you know, in the final end, we'll fade forward, right? So, it can't be that bad. Like, we might break into the dwarves' place. That certainly is still a plan. I mean, not might be necessary anymore, but...
I admit it that I expected that as a possibility multiple sessions ago. And,
yeah.
But, I mean, you know, I plan for things that you guys never end up doing. Like, anyone who's a referee knows that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I kind of figured that would be something we do eventually, but it's, again, the case. If we mess that up, we are in deep trouble.
It'll be fun. We'll have to flee to the sewers and now work as a shadow fighting force to strike down these enemies and prove our innocence by proving him being evil.
That would be fun, actually.
See? It'll be fine.
You were saying something, Goger, before that happened?
I was?
I thought you were trying to get a word in, and then it got derailed.
I was, but I don't remember what that was.
I'm sorry if I, in my excitement...
No. I don't remember what I was going to say, so it probably wasn't anything important anyway.
I do know that I sometimes have a tendency to take the word a bit too often.
All right. So, anything else that you think back on these past several sessions and go, I could have done without that. Like, that didn't add anything. It just subtracted.
No, not really.
No, I mean, it's tough when it's like an investigation story, because every little thing could be a clue or it could be irrelevant. And not knowing the difference is sometimes all the difference. Because that would, like, if we knew what was important and what wasn't, that we wouldn't really need to piece anything together ourselves. And so I think it's important in an investigation-based adventure, so to speak, to have leads that lead somewhere and leads that don't. And, you know, how we deal with those and how we come to the conclusion. It might not even be the right conclusion. As long as we're satisfied with it, doesn't really matter. So I think in many ways what we're doing is necessary.
Okay.
And at the end of it, I'm sure we're going to find moments of action interpierced with the sort of investigation and the ideas, and that's mostly what investigation is, right? It's finding ideas and trying them out, and then seeing if you're getting anything new from it. Basically, gathering a toolbox and then making a plan out of the tools, and then the plan is done. You might have lost tools, you might have gained some, but then you have the new toolbox to make a new sort of set of connections and ideas for what you can use them for now.
Yeah.
Until we run out completely, which I don't think will happen. We still have lots of things to do. But now with him dead, I mean, that's even more things that pop up. Now we need to search his store and his place and like find the body and
maybe we can get some maybe we can get permission to enter his building or his store now that he's dead, and we should take up the investigation, maybe?
We can glare at those dwarven guards. Like,
just shove them aside.
Yeah.
Alright. I know I ask this question too every single time, and it gets amusing the further we go. Where do you see this campaign going from here?
I'll begin. I think we're going to catch her at some point. Or she's going to run away and we're going to follow her. We haven't come this far. So let her get away.
Yeah.
That will piss off the Black Fang to no end. And lots of Raptors will be happy. And hopefully it'll have good outcomes and we can sort of see this city coming off to a better end. Where we might actually also learn something about their plans, the plans of the Blue, from this person we're currently hunting, And then we will probably react to those plans, attempting to thwart them in some way or another, by getting something they need, or taking something from them, or killing someone who's essential, or something like that. And that's sort of where I see it going. And then we'll begin to descend into basically more focused. How do we stop the plan that we now know sort of what is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I imagine, at least. I don't think we'll actually get to go to the sea out there, because it's just so removed from what we're doing.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah, unless if we don't find any information when we kill it, we might go out there, just, because there's like a bad thing that needs killing, and we don't know what else to do.
We might also go to like Santa Cora or something.
Yeah, ideally though, I mean, that letter's very old. I don't know if they still
Probably
us. Also, the guy who got it kind of left, so. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
But
or wasn't that Leon that got?
The adventure hook that was given for you guys was adventure tier design, and you guys know that'd be like going to Sandpoint or some shit when you're like high level. Welcome to Sandpoint. All the goblins are dead.
Oh god.
I wish Aurelia was dead. There we go.
I used my sticks to kill her.
Yeah, but that's where I see it going.
Yeah, in the short term, I certainly think that we'll eventually find Auxilia, but I'm at the moment not sure if that's going to be in 2 sessions or in 20, which is odd. But certainly in the more longer run, in the grand scope of the game, of the campaign rather, I'm certainly hoping that whatever we find out here in Newport is eventually going to lead us some other place where we can do things, interfere with things, accomplish things. And that's probably going to repeat, really, going from one place to another. I don't really know how it's going to end up being. But I lost track halfway through that sentence. Basically, I'm assuming we're going to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish.
I mean, that's a positive outlook.
Yeah. And so do I, but I do think it's gonna take some time, and I don't think we're gonna catch her in Newport. Rather that she is gonna run away, either to Drakenhall or to some other place, and we're maybe gonna follow her. But I think it's gonna take time, baby steps.
Mm-hmm. I was kind of imagining that it would actually end with us more like we're finding more and more about everything that's going on, and at the end she will be there. Like suddenly we'll come home, and I'll basically find her standing there with like a couple of other Black Fang agents. And they're like, yeah, we gotta kill you now. You know too much. And we'll be like, well, try. And then they will. And it'll be a really tough fight. But in the end, we'll prevail. Some of us at least. And we'll have killed them. And on them, we'll get the orders. And we'll know who her superior is. Who knows exactly what's going on. We'll go to the superior. Take her while she's in the city, not knowing that we won. And then we'll know the plan, and or at least the most of the plan. You can,
I think that's a bit too convenient, actually.
Sheep, I will say, I don't think they know everything about Auxilia that you know about Auxilia. I know you shared some of the details last session. I don't think they know everything that I gave you.
I don't know really a lot about her. She's a woman, a human woman, presumably, known as the Gloom, apparently.
Yeah.
That's what I know about Auxilia.
Basically, yeah. She's some kind of leader in Newport for...
Yes. More specifically, as Aurelia's character would have been told, and I'll mention this because I know of it, and I just don't know whether Sheep's character mentioned it. She is the head of the Newport Black Fang Lodge.
I think we assumed as much so far.
I didn't know we had a lodge in here. Like, that sounds like a bigger thing than like 5 people.
Every city has a lodge devoted to the Black Fang. Yes, This is one of the 7 largest cities in the entire empire, and Aurelia would certainly know that she, Exilia, is the head of the Black Fang Lodge.
Yeah. And the elf we found is probably somewhat connected to her.
In one way or another, he's probably not a good guy.
No.
So,
I mean, considering he's leading a brothel, which would, if I was an evil terrorist organization, having like a brothel as the like cover operation would certainly be one of the things I choose, because it has that kind of what's the word here?
I would choose a garbage company.
A butcher shop.
I mean, a brothel
Something
is
like
a
that.
very good information gatherer place.
That's also true.
Also, not the place you'd expect to find like a mighty assassin queen.
No.
Working in a brothel.
I
you
don't think
wouldn't?
she would be there, but
I don't know. That would be a great cover. She's
I
really
guess, but
dedicated to her job.
I think she has a fucking fortress in the sewer or something.
In the sewer, though?
Yeah.
Well, that's
She has
like a horrible
a
place.
fortified place in the sewer.
Why would anyone go to the sewer?
Because she has a fortified place.
You have to
I mean,
walk
no
through
one would be
pools every
looking down
day.
there for her.
No, but we have like a whole organization. I don't think it's the sewer.
Alright.
I really don't think it's the sewer. I think it's more hidden in plain sight kind of thing.
Perhaps.
Right.
That could be one of those taverns, perfectly fine. I don't think they have a place to hang out. I think it's more individuals hiding in plain sight.
My fourth question, I will slightly tweak this one a bit from my standard format that I ask it. And last of a sweeping question, if you could choose one like person or creature or facet or idea from the entire campaign thus far to appear again or occur again or happen again, what would you want to see again? One element from the entire campaign, stretching back from you leaving Santa Cora to right now, to happen again, next session or in the future. One thing. Be it an NPC or just like some sort of theme. What would it be?
My pick is probably not exactly useful because it's mostly related to Thomas as a character, but I enjoyed his experiences with Scarlet that I don't think the other party members know about, or the other actual people in the Skype chat know about. I enjoyed that kind of how to put it.
Closure.
Well, it was
Kind
roleplay,
of conversation. Yeah.
Yes, we devoted like over 2 hours in that call to talking about his character and his interactions with NPCs, and then we branched off from there into other stuff. That's certainly a window that's available to you folks. It's just that Sheep's character kind of had to go through that.
It turns a random we need to kill this guy villain into something more approachable. Or more, what's palpable, I guess? Is that even a word?
It is.
Okay, good.
I know it's a pedipalp is part of a lobster's mouth set, but I don't think those words are connected.
Something more real. Not just a quest objective. There we go.
I would like to see Ajax again. That would be fun. Because I did
No.
like those conversations between where
It would not be
Ajax.
fun. It's an asshole. Ugh. Ugh, I see. So you just like my torment, huh?
Well, no.
Interesting.
Just that those conversations gave a lot and were kind of fun to watch. I mean, you're not really suffering from them, are you?
No. I think I like if I gotta pick one thing, which is difficult because that's something that can happen every session. But I like the surprising elements. For example, the contacted by the person who turned out to be a green dragon was enjoyable to me because it forces me to think differently about the situation, which removes all the planning really. And sometimes that's enjoyable when you have made all these plans that sometimes you just gotta improvise. That can be fun and such. And I have a tendency to plan a lot, and sometimes it's fun not to. I mean, especially when you're the only one planning. Other than that, like this, another example would be, for example, this guy, magic items guy. I haven't learned his name yet. But
Lavelle.
Lavelle, yes. That he was so much different from what I expected. I had expected kind of really not a very, very interesting person at all. But he is much more interesting than I thought. That's also that's exciting. Just presented with something so new that completely changes the way I thought about a situation.
Yes, I noted like how you like felt about him and how you interpreted at the start of the session when you like talked about him, and of course a bit last session too. And then I had hoped to have a situation where you guys would actually meet him, because you might not have, and then you wouldn't have had that moment where I had planned and considered you guys actually going to visit him at some point.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that, of course, it's fun to have like your unique character things shined upon and be the character in the spotlight. But I think it will all get old if you did that every session. Almost. Yeah. And then, of course, something I like a lot, which I like a lot of things that can only happen sometimes, I suppose, which is also a very tough combat situation. Can be very rewarding as well. You know that combat where you might all die, like the one in the Creel. Living Dungeon of Creel was fucking awesome. Great session. And like that really filled up in the dungeon.
You
hall.
keep reminding me of it.
Remember Goger? Oh,
Yeah,
it was so awesome.
Hey,
It
you
was
got
real great. It was
hey,
real
you had
great.
another chance to do it. You guys were fucking outside it for like 2 days. Like, oh, why are we even here? Fuck.
Wait, they
Well,
aren't
the others
even here
didn't want to
yet.
go
What
in.
the fuck, Marcus? Jeez. Like, check your watch, man. They were going to leave in 6 days. We're like, why are we here then?
It wasn't 6 days.
That's how I remember it.
That's how I remember it.
And also I assume that Grimith had gotten his information wrong, and yeah.
That's a good part too. I just need to spread more misinformation to confuse you guys. Like, not misinformation, but to like, oh, I made a mistake, and you're like, wait, what? That changes my entire metagame planning. Because what
Yeah,
did he mean by that?
And someone else told us something different, and I see, that's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, but that final battle there was great. Because it's great to see what your character can do when you're tested and pressed to the limit, even in a combat situation. Those are the best combats. The boring combats are the one where we blast the spider and then
So
kill me.
what you want to see, the recurring theme is a surprisingly tough combat that could very well kill every single person. That's the recurring theme that you want.
where we narrowly managed to win or escape anyway,
Okay.
and ride off into a desperate triumph.
Yes.
Well, sounds like you will get us killed.
But
Yeah,
it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah,
You
Fargus
get to
won't ride
go
off.
into the sewers and fight ghouls, trying to find some place to live for a while we were hunting for the guards. Yeah, I like failure too much to be a good PC pure planning person, because I always have a little part of me that hope that things go horribly wrong.
And then that's the scary that maybe that's the scariest thing that all of the other players have allowed, by like putting the weight of planning into your hands, Manaki, when I know full well you'd be okay with everything going tits up.
Yeah, like I like that. Like I know everybody disliked the situation where we were fighting all those fucking lizard men in the snow, but it was kind of exciting to see how many we could take, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like to see how long we could sort of just keep battling them and killing all of them. Yeah, I was in for just staying there and never running, just because it was exciting to see how long we could continue without actually having to run. I know it was like like saving resources and stuff like that, but
Yeah, we didn't really do that though.
oh, we ran before we had used absolutely everything. And
Oh,
like,
yeah, sure.
in a way, in that kind of way, I just have this feeling that I just want to keep fighting to the very, very end, where I have nothing left but like to bite my opponents. Just, just, just. Yeah, I don't know. That's just sometimes that's what you want to do. Just fucking hail madness and ride to your doom, right?
And keep in mind, you're letting him like Manaki is taking control of conversations. He's taking control of planning, and this is his mindset. What the fuck are you guys thinking? You're all complicit.
In Lord of the Rings, when Theoden rides out of his like hall on a horse against like pikemen stashed on a narrow bridge, that's real cool because it's fucking crazy. And it ended up working, which is what the PCs do, right? They do completely mad things that then end up somehow patching things together. And in the end of the day, people say, "Well, man, you're one, but holy shit, you're also absolutely mad." Oh. Yeah, that's cute. Dwohurim is a good character for that. He's very flawed in the way that he's. Yeah, he's a very sad character to be true. And
We've gone 2 sessions without combat. You folks doing all right? I assume so because you haven't pushed the combat issue.
Well, I mean,
I'm all right. We'll have combat soon enough.
yeah. Would be nice to try out a new character in combat as well, but yeah. See how it does.
We'll eventually.
Yeah, we will.
Fought the guards if you wanted to see how that would go.
Well,
yeah, spoiler alert,
mean,
you would have won.
I don't think Lord Torettus would be able to get me out then.
No, that would have required far more than Leon's relationship die.
and I don't think that he would sort of be welcome in the rest of the party anymore.
Well,
I want to see how much I can do against these city guard.
Yeah.
Against like slaughtering them with
First day he meets them, he just slaughters.
It's okay. I'll turn my axe so I knock them all unconscious.
My hammer.
One side.
Yeah, you're hammering.
I turn it to the spike side. Yeah, sure.
Look! You're the one who can't remember the name of your siblings.
I have a lot of them. Okay.
You sure did, and all of them had G names. I was like, this is gonna be great.
I realized like immediately that was a really stupid thing to do, but I wanted to do it anyway.
I can't say it was stupid. I just enjoyed the part where like, why I'm here. Not particularly. Well, I'm here looking for these people. Could you tell me who they are? Oh fuck. Hold on.
Yeah, I was just starting to look it up before then, but
Hey, I said I
have
cared
a lot
for them,
of
but not
notes.
enough to actually remember their names.
I mean, it was so
That'd be
long
silly.
ago. Like, remind me, how long have they been missing?
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Oh, that's not that long.
But for people you love whose names you can't remember, that's a lifetime.
I remember
my
the names
brother-
of
my brother
more
had
than
been missing
150
for,
Pokemon, and that's like so many years since I've done anything with that. So
my brother have been missing for 2 years. My sister have been gone a bit longer than that.
A bit longer. How much longer?
Let's say 2 years more.
Okay, 4 years. Got it.
Yeah.
Alright, well, those are my questions that I like to ask. Are there any questions for me? Or for you other players that I know you won't ask each other during the week?
Grimith, what has been your favorite part of the campaign so far? Because as far as I understand, we are part of what makes it fun for you to DM as well. And hearing what you think that we've done that it made it really fun and interesting for you to DM is also something that we can use.
Yes. As I tell players, and this is my primary feature and goal, my system of doing this referee arbitration thing is to give players a tool set and to construct a frame of reference by which they can act. My best part is to give you folks bits and pieces, and to give myself bits and pieces, and to have you make something of it. And I'll show you a bit in how the sausage is made. I don't do a whole lot of long-term planning. The primary reason why I don't do a whole lot of long-term planning is I don't know where you guys are going to be long-term. I never know. Like, starting off in the first session, I had some ideas and I knew who the major players were in Foghaven, but I hadn't thought beyond Foghaven. Like, there's stuff that I didn't know was going to happen in session 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, when we were doing session 2. Like, I had a different outcome for, say, how Melkor Crypt was going to go, based on whether Gryph was there or not. And he wasn't there. So I changed my plans. Which I don't really have as plans. How I end up GMing is I kick around a bunch of ideas as well. I develop parts. And the parts are NPCs. I don't script if the players do this, if the players do that. I script Evrat Level. I script Calorel. I script Scarlet. I script Exilia. Thurl Dural. I make them, and I make what they want, and I make what they have, and I make what they're willing to do to get what they want. And then I throw all these fucking things in as components in at you guys. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of campaign they want to run. The campaign that I want to run is what the story they want to tell. That's why I brought them all together. I want to see what the story they tell. I don't know whether it'll be fun or not. Let's see where it is. And you guys have built a compelling and entertaining story in my aspect. From the start to the end. I think that you guys have shaped the campaign world far more than you realize, because I can see all the campaign world. I can see the NPCs. I can see all of the minute changes that you made to Newport, from your arrival, to killing Death's Hand, to terrorizing Thurl Dural last session. Like, all that shit, I can see that. By the way, he wasn't there. Not that you're surprised. It's like, well, you like changes like that? Like, man, we failed, we didn't do anything. Yes, you did! You scared the piss out of him! And then I go in after that session and go, well, now what is he going to do now that he's been absolutely terrorized because the players found out where he was and no one's supposed to find that? And I build from there. I didn't know he was going to be fucking terrorized that session. Beats me. You know, I didn't know you guys were going to go to the Isle of Creel and sit there for 2 nights in the snow. I enjoyed that spontaneous reaction where the players all congregate together to make these choices and seeing what comes out of those choices. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. This is fun. Like, the amount of effort I put in, which is like 5 to 6 hours every week on developing these tools, it's so fulfilling to see you guys take these tools. It's like watching a kid in a sandbox with a bunch of shit, but only you filled the sandbox full of fire ants and the kid doesn't know it. It's like, what's gonna happen? And sometimes you guys, you do amazing things and I go, I never fucking thought of that. That's fucking awesome. You guys have said opinions out loud, and this happens at every campaign where I go, I never considered that. That's better than what I thought of. And I'm not going to tell you all those things until the end if you ask. Or, that's a fucking great idea. I never considered that. I'm going to do that. And then there's some times where you guys do something and I go, that was a really poor decision. They should have known that was a poor decision based on all of the information they have available. Or you guys do a decision, I'm like, why didn't they do this or this? And of course it's easy for me to see what X, Y, and Z can lead to because I know the players and I know my tools. But those moments where you blindside me tend to be better moments than not because it puts me on my ad-lib toes. And by and large, like, the first few sessions I had largely, like, written out and prepared, like, encounters for, and I showed Sheep those. Because I knew you guys were fairly limited in your options. For a reason. Like, Sea Trade was closed. For a reason. It's to put you guys into a situation where you're forced to travel together, and then see what happens from that. It's the same reason, in all the other RPGs where they contrive you to be in an area. And then I kick off a bunch of options, and you guys go from there. Overall, I think the best moment I can think of, because I know I've rambled on this massive tangent, the best moment I can think of was the moment, it was after session 16 or 17, the session where Goger realized what Ollie the Alchemist meant with her words at the end of that session. The session where the light bulb came on and he said, "Oh, that's what she fucking meant? Oh my god! Fuck! That changes everything of how I thought about that! Vargas is gonna fucking, lose his goddamn mind! I don't know how to handle this! I hate having to wait a week for this!" And I said, "That's great. I love to see your reaction here. It shows how invested you are in the situation, and I do believe that I said, I want to be you. Because I love this choice being presented to you, this pinnacle here of consequence, and seeing where you go with that." Now, ultimately, it didn't get too hot and heavy or crazy in the next session, but just the anticipation of what would happen, and the fact that he'd have to wait an entire week, I'd have to wait an entire week to see what you guys would do, the fact that Manaki and Dark thought it was something different.
That would have been great.
And I told Goger what I thought you thought it was after we hung up the call, and he was like, "What? No way, he would have never done that!"
But she was kind of crazy, though. She could have totally injected him with some shit. Just to test it out,
There are themes I enjoy in tabletops, and one of them is the pursuit of voluntary corruption. I don't enjoy mind control, and I don't enjoy enchantment stuff. That gets so old and, so jaded. But, a Call of Cthulhu aspect, where you voluntarily choose to learn the forbidden knowledge, to read the forbidden spells, where you have an opportunity to better yourself. You don't know the cost, though. Hence why I had an avatar for a while with Manaki screaming, "Motherfucker!" on it. That was awesome for me. And corruption options, I like to plug in because I just like the theme of corruption. That aspect. Injecting that into high fantasy situations. I really enjoyed the 2 hours that I spent with Sheep in pursuing his character, and how Thomas developed from that. I thought that was the best development I'd seen from Thomas, and it's just, it just ended up happening in a one-on-one, because that's the best development for characters, whenever it's one-on-one for that. One-on-one sessions between Dwohurim and Aurelia, Leon and Aurelia, situations like those. Those are great. I enjoy those. That's why I enjoy having fewer players, because it allows for such development like that. So, to bind in all of those tangents together, my favorite part of this campaign is the fact that I give you folks the opportunity to write the story. Now, it may not be the story you want to tell, but it actually is the story that you want to tell, because you make those choices. I've empowered you to make choices, and I really am just along for the ride. Anything else for me?
Well, in continuation of that, I'm kind of dread to ask, but what's the worst moment?
The worst moment was session 15, was the session where Sheep set out for the entire session, and we had so much combat with those Dragonkin guards and warlocks. The session where you guys made such plans to do things non-combat, and then you chose, I thought at the time, pig-headed, fucking players would do this, and I'll use the vernacular, I'll channel myself from the past here. Of course fucking players would be like, fuck it, we're just gonna brute force it. No one challenges us. No one pisses in our Cheerios. No one even looks at us funny. We're the players. We control player characters. We're the most important themes of the story. No one can beat us. Anyone challenges us, we'll kill every single motherfucker. in contrast to all of the knowledge that I thought had been made available about the number of Dragonkin and how dangerous they could be, and patrols, and the fact that they were alerted because Thomas had been captured. Now, you didn't know he had been captured, you just knew that he hadn't returned and talked to you for a bit. And the fact that that could have been obviated by speaking with the Shadow Gnome, who had knowledge and who had like an inside guy who could have provided schematics. But you guys insisted that you already had your own inside guy who knew a bunch of things. And he was like, alright, cool. And didn't provide anything more from there. That's when I threw those fucking Dragonkin, like, I threw them under the bus. I was like, I'm never fucking, like, no, never using these guys again, because, hot damn, I'm sick of these. You'll recall towards the end, there were, like, entire situations where there could have been combat to slow you down. I'm like, no, they're dead. Why? Because they're fucking dead. That's why. That has been the session where I've been the most frustrated, and I opened into that. At the end of that next session where I vented my frustration. Like, we had a talk about that. That was my worst moment, where I went, these motherfuckers chose to write a story where they could have, like, obviated combat, they could have ignored it, and they're like, no! We will have this! And I'm like, fine, you guys will get this. And I just kept fucking sending reinforcements because, yes, they were there, and they would have heard. It wasn't a total loss for you guys. You did kill people. You took out a lieutenant that you would have fought in the basement. But that was intended to be a situation where, like, they didn't use the invisibility cloak. They didn't use the ring that allows you to fly. They didn't use ghost sound until the end where everything was tits up. They take all these possible elements of stealth and say...
It's the problem with roleplay stealth is that you kind of want to keep the party together, but only one or two people are really good at stealth, and those who are bad at it always drag them down.
Right, it would be why in, say, Shadowrun, like, no one wants to be, like, the Decker guy, because he's the one who's completely isolated. And... You're gonna sit there being screwed while everyone else is gonna do cool shit. You're gonna be the guy sent in alone to do all the scouting. One, the others have to sit out while you do that, and two, if, like, you're alone if you get messed up. But you can, of course, take them with you, but then your stealth will not matter. Because even if you get, like, a 40 stealth, that guy who gets, like, a -2 because of his, like huge plate mail and, like, tower shield, like, people will hear and see him, and so it doesn't matter how hidden you are. Now, I would counter by saying there are plenty of in-game situations during this campaign where it's only been one or maybe two players who've handled a situation. Take, for example, this session with Evrat Lavelle. Aurelia and Geráck, like, Geráck didn't even say a fucking word. And Aurelia said a few words at the beginning. That was Dwohurim's conversation to have, from start to finish. And in other situations, you know, individuals have spoken up where it's been, like, you know, depending on the situation. But social situations, for example, end up being isolationist as well. Should you obviate social situations, then, because they're exclusive instead of inclusive?
I don't think so. I mean, I would like if people would talk more. But...
I mean, in that particular situation, it just didn't feel appropriate to interrupt, because you were there to talk to him. Specifically you.
I really didn't have anything to say to that guy.
You know, in that situation like that, it's just you guys were like newer characters coming in, and Dwohurim's character was the one who most connected to him. That made sense. It also just ended up being, what, 45 minutes, if not longer? If Dwohurim's speaking to that NPC, when that's something that very well could have been handled when it was just me and Manaki. Just food for thought in that regard. Like, splitting the party, I don't think is a bad idea. You know, in groups, so long as it's not like solo individuals. Maybe there's two people who can do stealth, or maybe there's two people who can handle a social conversation while other people do such and such. The one thing all of you folks have to have, well, you don't have to, you just choose to have some skill at, is combat. Combat is the unifying force. So why don't you guys always go after the situations that provide combat? Why do you go after the situations where you go, I'm confused, I don't know what I'm doing, none of this makes any fucking sense, why are these assholes twats? They never, good is always inept, and evil is always powerful. This fucking sucks, the guards are all corrupt, everyone is out to get us, how do I even talk to this person? I just want to have a conversation.
But we don't want to hurt innocents, and innocents have a way to throw themselves at us in this damn city.
And so then go like, well, maybe you guys could like do some living dungeon stuff, or like go hunting for like other aspects, or maybe go fight for a bit and see how the situation develops. No, we want to investigate. And I love now how there's like an attachment to Lord Duraptus. Poor Lord Duraptus.
Yeah, like he's suffered through so much at this point. He's tired, and all he wants really is just to go to pension. But he can't because the Archmage took pension, and now he's stuck here in his fucking job.
He also wants Sheep's character dead.
And all his characters are all his colleagues are dead.
Pretty
and
much.
Yes. All these noobs, and his academy exploded. Now everybody in the city hates him.
Right, like, it wasn't his idea. Like, he didn't control digging through the Orb of Storms. You just have to deal and clean up with the fucking mess. Yes. So yeah, that ended up tying into that. That was that session there. That combat in particular, where you guys are standing in the snow of Drakenhall in the ruins. That was my least favorite moment. And I think my frustration showed at least to myself as I kept dragging in reinforcements. I was like, these motherfucking, God, after all the fucking planning and thought, they do this.
Yeah, that was mostly a miscommunication.
We already talked through and hashed with that situation. All right. Anything else for me or for each other?
Let's use these relationship dice well. We have
I don't have any.
maybe 4 plot hooks now to go on. Yeah. The murder. That this guy's been murdered. His stuff, getting to root through his stuff. We have this guy in the in Dragonhall, and we have the remaining member of Death's Hand. Those are 4 distinct and very real, like, possible ways to go.
So, how did you feel? Was it a natural transition to go from, oh yeah, that Vane guy died suddenly, how about that, to, oh, turns out he might not actually be dead? How was that transition?
I was thinking, oh, old fox. I've seen that before. So, you know, that's interesting. I could recognize that item from Age of Darkness.
Ah, it's actually an item that exists in the 13th Age Book of Loot.
Mm-hmm. All right, I didn't know, but that seemed very familiar.
Yep, I pulled that straight from the Book of Loot. And when he appeared to die suddenly, I heard both Dark and Gryph remark on how weird that was. Like, he wasn't even staggered, was he? No, he wasn't.
I just thought he was like a leader type they would keep around to be. I mean, I thought about it like, oh, that's weird. He was super weak. Maybe he wasn't really a group member, but more sort of their manager or something like that. And I kind of passed it off. Hey, I guess that led to a better story, didn't it? No, it's just like, let's chop the head off of every corpse.
You certainly could have done that.
Burn them all here.
And you know, that's one concern that's always encouraged in, like, the help books for, like, you know, how to be a better GM. When people who they think are dead aren't actually dead, the PCs will start fucking, like, burning every single body into ash. They'll lop off every head. They'll, like unhollow the ground. They'll, like, do everything. Like, it's like enchantment and mind control in that aspect. Once you open the door that someone they think is dead isn't actually dead, that's when all bets are off.
It's because suddenly the power you have to kill is not real. you in that instance of, I mean, not so much here because he died super easily, right? It's not like he was a super tough battle that then suddenly isn't dead. It's you know, suddenly you take the triumph away and you take the power away. some people have the ability to kill really well, but suddenly that counts for nothing. And so the players will get desperate to activate that power again to regain what was lost basically in the loss of the power to kill people.
Yes. And it's possible that, that may have never come out with Vayne, and it's possible that he might have actually died during your fight with him. That just ended up being a situation where I'll describe it from Vayne's perspective. Wow, we're getting fucked. I am full of so much ongoing poison damage right now. I'm fucking out of here. Fuck this.
Did you roll for him to save from it?
He didn't die from it, no.
Okay. That would have been an interesting twist if you suddenly had just died. From the actual poison damage laying there, being unconscious. That's an item we gotta give Gryph so he pops into a cube whenever. Like super easy to see he's not dead.
Yep, and, and I thought it would be a neat discovery if you found someone. Evrat was one such individual who could have told you about it because he can see magic items.
Who's a mystical power?
Yes.
Yeah. Gotta discover more about that.
Yeah, there's probably something more to that guy than just.
I got an Archmage 5, so I can put that in there. Maybe he doesn't like the High Druid. Probably doesn't care much, but
Well, I will say that Evrat Laval isn't really connected to any of the icons, at least any of the icons you have connections to. The Archmage one was pretty well explained already with Dwohurim. You use that one, he severed connection for the reasons that you were told, and you told the others.
yeah.
No. I really like the 13th Age system in that it allows you folks... I really love the non-skill-based backgrounds. I really love, the backgrounds that force you to think about, what your character did, because they're story hooks, and they contribute to character development. I really like the icon relationship dice, and I like you guys thinking about them at the end of sessions, because it gives you stuff to think about and consider, instead of just spontaneously ad-libbing things, because not everyone can do that, even if they want to. I like you guys messaging me with your ideas. You can do that even if you don't have icon relationship dice, and we can go from there. The icon relationship dice just make things easier, with possible complications later.
Something that I will say with the background points, though, is that it something I've noticed before is sometimes I feel like I should say, well, Dwohurim, of course, would be good at this because he's done it so much, like in Dragon Hall, for example. Like doing city tracking, we've done that tons of times. But you don't really get good at it because you don't really naturally gain more of these points.
Well, in that case, you could either extend yourself that to by taking the further backgrounding feat, or if you want, you could actually shift a point out of a background and into something else every level. Perhaps because of Dwohurim's focus on that, he's less good in something and more good in this. Now, whether you want to do that, I can't say one way or the other.
No, it's just something I noticed.
Right.
Naturally, as we sort of went along. So I did, yeah.
In that case, the weeks you've spent, particularly, doing something, don't really matter compared to however many years of training you've had with an actual background. Unless you actually invest something of your character, say through a feat into that.
Yeah.
Or pick something from one of the classes that gives you extra background points. That ranger talent, for instance. Which
A city tracker.
Yes.
Thought about adopting the dog, but I'm like, I can't take all these fucking animals. I need.
Wow, that would be a great way to carry on the legacy of Fargus, to become the fucking
bird, a
animal
dog,
person.
and a horse.
You already rolled the 20 while handling that bloodhound sniffer dog.
Maybe I should take him on and make an animal companion out of him. Fargus, that's what Fargus would have done.
Yes. So there is that. I'll go back to it again. Any questions for me or for each other, or comments for me or each other, pertaining to the whole campaign or to just this session? Manaki has asked a lot and said a lot. Anything from you, Goger, or you, Sheep?
I'm tired.
That's a good question.
Am I tired? I don't know.
I don't think I have any immediate questions, and if I do, I'm probably just going to ask you some other time.
Okay.
I don't have any important questions anyway.
Important. Well,
how
about you let other people judge?
I can't think of anything to ask, so I don't have any important questions.
All right, Manaki?
No. I think I'm done for now. I've said a lot. I can't remember what I've said. So that usually means I should stop. Or I'll begin to say the same things again.
Yes, what is scripted as like a late week for 4 hours has gone almost 6.
Yes, I'm meeting late tomorrow, and I'm still only have like 6 hours from now.
Yes.
So it'd be real
that's
fun
it.
to go until 7 in the evening.
So great job with you, you the 3-player team here. Enjoy your incremental advance that neither of them get. It is yours to have, as are the currently exercise. Of course, if you choose a spell or power, you don't get it until a full heal up, and you guys haven't had any combat. You're still full on everything.
Guys should pick skill points, I think. There.
Skill points or hit points. You know, hit points for all
used
the
pretty often. Just
Doesn't matter if you forgot to add the levels.
Yes, that's a thing too. Like, and remember to add your level to your skill check.
Well,
all right, get out of here, folks.
yeah. I'll talk to you guys later.